voice actors in The Lion King were overshadowed by Beyonce. Are there actors who performed in both Lion King movies? Which of the actors has a personal story of tragedy that's similar to Simba's? And finally, the question that only true fans know the answer to: how many Lion King's films has Disney created? Hakuna Matata, everybody! I'm Jeremy, you're watching OSSA, and it's time to find the answers to all of these questions. Let's start with Simba and Nala and some unexpected details about the actors who portrayed their characters. Most of you know that in the Lion King live-action remake, the voice of Simba belongs to Donald Glover. He didn't have a lot of experience in voice acting. Glover is mostly famous for writing NBC sitcom 30 Rock and his several acting roles like Troy Burns in Community, Miles Morales in the animated series Ultimate Spider-Man, and Lando Calrissian in Solo: A Star Wars Story, of course. That's why being the voice of Simba was a challenge for him. In his interview with Jacqueline Coley, Glover said that one of the most important things for him was to make Simba's voice reflect the fact that he's growing up, and to do so as smoothly as possible. In the original Lion King movie, there was virtually no transition. Simba was a Lion King cub for half the movie, and then, in the middle of him singing Hakuna Matata with Timon and Pumbaa, he grew up into a mature lion. Just like that. That's why Donald Glover and the movie director Jon Favreau felt like this was something that should be developed more deeply in the Lion King remake. Those of you paying attention to details might have noticed Donald changing his voice from higher to lower and more mature, adding depth to Simba's journey of growing up. Another sad circumstance that added some depth in the character's development was Donald Glover's father's death. He confessed in the same interview that during the production process he lost his father, and sometime after that, this loss made him understand the Lion King's drama much more deeply. That's why he asked the movie creators to redo several of his lines after he understood the story of the Lion King more personally. And he isn't the only Lion King actor who has a similar story to Simba. We'll come back to this a little later in our video. While some people may exclusively associate Simba from Lion King 2019 with Glover, Glover wasn't alone. That's right, for the first 50 minutes of the movie, Simba is actually a lion cub, and Glover's voice is a little too mature for this job. So young Simba was not voiced by Donald Glover, but by J.D. McCrary, a talented singer, dancer, and actor who's already been compared multiple times to a young Michael Jackson. And if that comparison sounds like an exaggeration to you, then check this out.
And wrong, my dear, and girl, since you went away.
JD said on The Ellen Show that he started singing when he was 2 years old, while still in diapers. True or not, but JD's huge passion and strong talent for pop music is something you can't deny. Despite the fact that he's just 12 years old, he's already released his very first EP called Shine. We hope that he'll have a great career. Good luck, JD. A pretty similar situation happened with Nala. Everybody knows that the voice of her character is Beyonce, but just a few people know that young Nala was voiced over by Shahadi Wright Joseph. Of course, Beyonce is great, no doubts here, but the appearance of the adult Nala in the movie isn't major, because Nala is a cub for half of the movie. And considering that Beyonce doesn't really need any introductions, let's talk about Shahadi. She is only 14, but already boasts a pretty impressive list of achievements. For example, when she was 9, she performed on Broadway, playing, guess which character in the Lion King musical? That's right, she appeared as young Nala on Broadway. She was also a cast member for Andrew Lloyd Webber's School of Rock, which is another Broadway musical. And in addition to that, Shahadi starred in the successful horror movie Us in 2019, for which she is nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actress. Impressive, isn't it? And her recent opportunity to work on set with Beyonce looks like the perfect continuation of her acting career. Shahadi told Refinery 21 that she had the joy of playing Nala because she can inspire little girls to achieve the same accomplishments as her. It seems like Shahadi is on the right path, and she just can't wait to be queen. Scar. Is there anybody who doesn't know Oscar-nominated actor Chiwetel Ejiofor? I really don't think so. We've all seen him in movies like 12 Years a Slave, Love Actually, Martian, Serenity, Doctor Strange, and in many, many more. But we've never watched him portray one of the most evil characters in Disney history. As you can see, Chiwetel Ejiofor has scars on his face, pretty similar to his animated character. And this isn't about getting in character, of course, but the consequences of a horrible accident that happened with his family when he was 11 years old. According to The Guardian, it occurred in Lagos, Nigeria, while he was on a family holiday. The accident took his father's life and left the young Chiwetel with a head injury and broken wrists. Ejiofor hasn't said much about this tragedy in public, but has made a few chilling remarks about it. Quote, "It's in your cortex, the knowledge that this thing is waiting at any moment to completely revolutionize your universe by taking away the people that you care most about, for no reason, randomly. That was probably part of the reason why Chiwetel's Scar was much more brutal and had more depth compared with the original movie. And you might say that Scar is the most different character among everyone from the original Lion King. In the original movie, Scar was charismatic, sly, and dark. But in the remake, he's much darker, and instead of just wanting the power, he now wants even more. Queen Sarabi herself. Ejiofor said it was easy for him to be inspired by William Shakespeare with a strong focus on bringing Hamlet to the character, and there are no surprises here. Ejiofor's classical acting education and experience give him confidence in that. There's no chance that an actor like Chiwetel Ejiofor will be overshadowed by Beyonce. Same goes for Alfre Woodard, the 4-time Emmy Award winner, 1-time Golden Globe winner, and 1-time Oscar nominee who voiced Simba's mother. In case you were sitting in the cinema trying to guess who Sarabi's familiar voice is, try to remember movies like Luke Cage, Desperate Housewives, and Star Trek. Yes, Alfre Woodard starred in all of these, as well as in 12 Years a Slave with Chiwetel Ejiofor. So it seems like most of the Lion King's original characters are voiced by new actors. And as I said, most of the characters, for a reason. Any ideas which voice actors appeared in both Disney movies? Maybe you guys need a little clue? Yes, I'm talking about James Earl Jones. He voiced Simba's father Mufasa both in the original Lion King and its remake. Do you want to know why? Because there is no James Earl Jones Jr. around, and when an actor with such a deep and powerful voice needed to breathe life into a strong character like Mufasa, nobody comes to mind faster than Mr. Jones himself. Here's what the movie's director, Jon Favreau, said to Jimmy Kimmel about Jones. Quote, "I would have had a very tough time if I'd had to recast that role." Along with Jones, there were other people from the original Lion King who came back to make the remake happen. However, they're not actors. Hans Zimmer and original movie director Rob Minkoff were involved too. Because, according to Favreau, it was really important to recreate the original dynamic as accurately as possible. So lots of those who created Lion King 1994 were at the premiere, and Jon Favreau was happy about their feedback. He said, "They stuck around for a party and they seemed to like the movie. You feel a sense of responsibility to the original filmmakers. You feel a sense of responsibility to the fans that grew up with it. You feel a responsibility to new audiences and to the cast that trust you." Before we come to fan favorites Timon and Pumbaa, let's talk briefly about other great supporting roles and what changes were made with them. Zazu and the hyenas. Remember Zazu, the hornbill who was Mufasa's advisor? He has the funny and expressive voice of John Oliver, who's best known for being on The Daily Show and The Last Week Tonight Show. And Zazu was originally voiced by Rowan Atkinson, aka Mr. Bean. Yep, and the funny thing about Rowan Atkinson here is the fact that he actually didn't want to participate in the movie, because he's always considered himself a visual artist and had never done voice acting before The Lion King in 1994. And it even took some serious efforts for the co-writer of the Mr. Bean series, Robin Driscoll, to imagine him portraying Zazu. However, by the end of the production, he was really proud of himself for accepting the role. In my opinion, both Rowan Atkinson and John Oliver managed to bring Zazu to life perfectly. But do you know which characters were drastically changed? The hyenas. Yep, in The Lion King 1994, there were 3 hyenas named Shenzi, voiced by Whoopi Goldberg, Banzai, voiced by Cheech Marin, and Ed, voiced by Jim Cummings. However, out of the 3, in the remake, there is only Shenzi, and then new characters Kamari and Azizi. Then, there are lots of no-name hyenas that always stand behind them. Wait a second, there's no Banzai and Ed? Yeah, that was disappointing for me as well, because in the original movie, the hyenas were charismatic and funnily stupid characters. They created a comedic dynamic in the movie, and they were pretty memorable, you have to admit. No doubt, actors Florence Kasumba, Keegan-Michael Key, and Eric Andre did a great job in the remake, but the kid inside me is kind of upset. But we were happy to see our favorite characters, Timon and Pumbaa, coming back on screen. Yes, they look very different in the live-action version, but hey, this is something that you get used to pretty fast while watching the movie. And Seth Rogen, aka Pumbaa, and Billy Eichner, aka Timon, did a terrific job bringing those characters back to life. Just in case these two needed an introduction, I'll remind you who they are. They're both mostly known for comedy films. Seth Rogen starred in movies like Knocked Up, Superbad, Sausage Party, This Is the End, and many, many more. Aside from the comedies, he's appeared in some dramas as well. One of his best performances in a drama was in the film Steve Jobs, where he portrayed famous inventor and engineer Steve Wozniak. Speaking of Billy Eichner, who is also a comedy actor, he's most famous for creating Billy on the Street, which is a comedy game TV show. Billy Eichner was even nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host in 2013. So both guys have really cool comedic backgrounds, which were suitable for portraying Timon and Pumbaa. And what's more important is that it seems like they lead the Hakuna Matata philosophy throughout their lives, because during their interview on BBC Radio 1, they didn't know how many Lion King movies there are. Now, everyone, please stop this video and think for a second. Do you know how many Lion King movies there are? And here comes the answer.
Did you rewatch all 3 of the Lion Kings to prepare for this?
There are 3 Lion Kings?
Yep.
That's right. Before the last Disney remake, there were 3 Lion King movies. Lion King 1, Lion King 2, and Lion King 1.5. And Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner had no idea. Probably like some of you watching this video. But no worries, or Hakuna Matata. You can always catch up. Maybe I'll go home and watch the original Lion King movies now. Thanks everyone. Subscribe to our new channel called Awesome Movies. It's all about your favorite films and movie characters. And as always, stay awesome.